growing expression of no confidence in Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition from the Indi partners, evident in their actions and statements after Samajwadi Party and Sharad Pawar's Nationalist Congress Party, RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad Yadav, has posed serious questions to Congress leadership today. In fact, they are openly now backing Trinamool Congress's chief, Mamata Banerjee. What is their demand? To lead the India alliance. So much so, Lalu Yadav is among the latest Indi bloc leaders to declare that Congress means nothing. His statement signals a growing dissent against the grand old party, one that has culminated into a lack of a parliamentary strategy, especially a no-secret disagreement on whether to make the Adani issue the single-point agenda to disrupt the parliamentary proceedings. Needless to say, the Congress's one-point agenda of crony capitalism has led to frequent adjournments. But in contrast, the Trinamool Congress has pushed for the House to continue functioning, prioritizing urgent matters such as price hikes, unemployment, and even turmoil in Manipur. This rift was further highlighted when MPs from the Trinamool Congress and Samajwadi Party, the main opposition players after the Congress, were conspicuously absent from a protest focused on the Adani issue. And what did that reveal? A deepening split in their tactics as well. At a time when Rahul Gandhi's role as the leader of opposition is being questioned and Didi is emphasizing her prominence as a national leader, one who's being endorsed by senior leaders like Sharad Pawar, even Sanjay Raut, or even by senior Congress leaders like T.S. Singhdev. The question we are posing tonight on Brass Tacks is Rahul Gandhi losing his status as a favourite within the India alliance?
Mamata Banerjee only can lead the India alliance. I said it earlier, and this is a welcome thing. If the all the partners of India alliance, they can understand this thing.
कांग्रेस की वजह से नहीं हो, ममता को
विचार विमर्श हो रहा है। ममता जी ने कहा है कि वो ये जिम्मेदारी लेने को तैयार हैं एंड कंसीडरिंग उनका एक वास्ट एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, वी शुड सपोर्ट दिस आइडिया।
एक ऐसा गठबंधन जिसका कोई वजूद नहीं हो, जो लगातार एक दूसरे के खिलाफ लड़ने वाली पार्टियों का गठजोड़ हो।
Alright, and with that, let me introduce our guests today. I'm in fact joined in by Mr. R.P. Singh, who's the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm awaiting the others, but let me in fact begin with Sardar R.P. Singh. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for joining in. Many are in fact, before I'm of course going to be posing my questions to the opposition as well, but they are also accusing your party of not allowing parliamentary functioning to take place, and that in a healthy democracy, that's not right. How do you in fact defend that allegation coming in from the opposition?
Well, Parliament functions as per the rule book, not by anarchy. There are certain rules, and under those rules, the Parliament functions. If the opposition doesn't want to follow the rule and they want to follow the rule of anarchy, or they say my way or highway, I mean, whatever you want to do is okay, otherwise you will not allow the Parliament to function. And if Mr. Rahul Gandhi thinks that he can dictate the terms to the Parliament or the parliamentary procedures, it can't be possible. It's not possible. And also that jitne sir utni baatein hain, I mean, more as many heads, different language they speak. Someone want to do a debate on Sambal, the other one want to do a debate on West Bengal. They want to do debate on Adani, and then they have all the right to do whatever they want to do.
All right.
But fact is that give me another fact. The fact is that it is all because of the one-man upship within the India alliance, and then there is a race going on between who will be the next chief of the India alliance, and whether it will be Mamata Banerjee or whether it will be Rahul Gandhi, who will continue, and then they have to decide, and then probably they can decide on how Parliament will function. But in that race, they are targeting the vice president of the country, the farmer's son.
Right, right. I am going to quickly bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari. Ghanshyam Tiwari is also joining us, who's the national spokesperson for the Samajwadi Party. I can see Professor Manojit Mandal, who's a political analyst, backs the TMC, is also joining me. Ghanshyam, if I could come to you, you know, many are saying that this is the headless chicken moment for the opposition right now. You're lacking parliamentary strategy, which is of course going to be the larger chunk of this discussion. But what is it just going to be attributed to? Is it just the lack of an opposition strategy, or is it that, you know, these adjournments are also happening because you are questioning democracy and the whole Adani issue, and that's why the adjournments are followed?
Good evening, Sneha, to you, the viewers, and my fellow co-panelists. As a nation, as your viewers watch, we must question that what kind of strategy should opposition follow that the Prime Minister will gather courage and show up at the Parliament. That the Treasury benches that have majority in the Parliament, that ruled the Parliament by their brute force, having less sittings than Sundays in the past 10 years, expelling 145 MPs, passing ordinances, not allowing debates, today are looking at the different issues that the nation faces and says this is jitne sir utni baatein. We are not a dictatorship, that there's only one head and his nod is what determines the issue of the country. The fact is Manipur remains burning. The India Today magazine published the Supreme Court admission of the tapes of N. Biren Singh, which are incriminatory. The man should not be the Chief Minister anymore. The Prime Minister does not require a visa to go to Manipur. The poor and the middle class feel the brunt of the inflation every day. BJP has no answer. Batoge Katoge party has shown the Batoge Katoge model in Sambal. They don't have an answer.
But Ghanshyam, it's really unfortunate that the issue of Manipur is being discussed on brass tacks today, and the fact that it should have been raised with unanimous consensus by the entire opposition has not happened. And that's why I'm going to quickly bring in Manojit Mandal. I will come to you, Ghanshyam. You're very pivotal to my debate tonight. I will come to you. Professor Manojit Mandal, I want to quote somebody from the party you support. Mr. Kalyan Banerjee has said that the problem with the Congress party is that they are afraid of other senior leaders from the opposition. It's not like Mamata Banerjee will become the Prime Minister. It's time that Congress party drops its ego. In fact, he's gone on to say, he's clearly gone on to highlight that. I'm going to bring in Romesh Sabharwal on that note also, but I want to know your thoughts on what Kalyan Banerjee has had to say.
So I think Mr. Banerjee is a very senior, member of the party. He's, 3 times a member of Parliament also. And now he's the 4th time elected member of the Parliament. So I think he has got every right to say what he has said. There could be some, spin in his thinking, especially the Bengal Congress. You saw what they did, especially the former president of Bengal Congress, and now you see why he is. He is completely decimated from Bengal politics, and single-handedly.
He's also said that I'm very sure Congress is regretting throwing out Mamata Banerjee in the year 1997.
That is history, I think. That history has led to the downfall of the communist also. It's very clear. The communist had a kind of tacit understanding with Jyoti Basu in the 90s. And everyone knows that this political history of Bengal, and Mamata had created history single-handedly. For us, I tell you one thing, and I've been saying this for the last, couple of days. Mamata has remained the most important female politicians after Mrs. Indira Gandhi. In fact, at some point, even bigger than that, because Mamata did not have that halo or the family background to rise to where she has risen. And if you compare the most important politician in the opposition, that is BJP, Mr. Modi, and if you compare Mamata's career with Mr. Modi's career, Mamata was already in the horizon of Indian politics, almost.
So, Professor Mandal, you do agree that she's somebody who's surpassing the stature of Rahul Gandhi? Do you agree or not?
There's no comparison. Mamata.
There's no competition.
Mamata has seen Rahul Gandhi growing up under her nose. Mamata, they had a remarkable relationship with both Rajiv Gandhi and still with Mr. Sonia Gandhi. I mean, there is no comparison at all.
All right.
Rahul
For
Gandhi is
once,
like
Professor Mandal,
one
you've
to
in fact
Mamata.
called a spade on my show. Thank you so much for being so honest and frank about it. Romesh Sabarwal, I'd like to quickly bring you in on that note. The argument that's being made by Kalyan Banerjee, would you now be willing to prove him wrong, that the Congress is no longer afraid of having a non-Gandhi, a non-Congress person head an entire alliance, and perhaps after a very long gap even have a woman to, take that alliance forward?
Good evening, madam. Mamata is our family, ma'am. Mamata Banerjee is a product of Youth Congress and the Chhatra Parishad, the NSUI. She was promoted by Rajiv ji. I never dreamt that she's a part of our family. She has fought against the communists in Bengal, and she left us in a midway, due to certain reasons, because at that time the Congress leadership, we were having Pranab Mukherjee and other leaders at that time. Ajit Panjaji went with him. Das Munshi ji became ill, he was not well. The leaders at that time of Indira ji, Rajiv ji, Sonia ji, she has a respect for Sonia ji, and she treats Rahul as a younger brother. And there is no competition between Rahul ji and Mamata ji. Both of us.
Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? There's a clear-cut competition. 40% of the alliance, Romesh, listen to the facts that I'm going to present to you. 40% of the India alliance is currently standing with Mamata Banerjee. That roughly works out to be almost 93 Lok Sabha seats. The Congress itself got 99 Lok Sabha seats. Do you not think that this reflects of a very strong discontent which is brewing within the alliance?
No, ma'am, there's nothing like that. Mamata, we have a respect for
No,
us.
no, by you saying nothing is not going to mean nothing. It is there, and I'm talking about facts. 40% of your alliance is currently standing with Mamata Banerjee. And day by day, leaders are coming out. Today, Lalu Prasad Yadav, earlier it was Sharad Pawar. T.S. Singh Deo, who is the senior Congress leader himself, from your own grand old party, is now coming out and saying that yes, she has the caliber. We acknowledge.
Rahul ji is fighting like Mamata ji also against the dictatorship of undeclared emergency and undeclared martial law in India. Right now we are fighting against the EVMs, all the misuse of all the agencies. We are fighting for the poor people. Mamata ji is a product of Congress. She will definitely with us, and I don't feel that. When there is a question of Prime Minister will come, definitely. Right now we are struggling, We are fighting. The people are in distress.
Who has asked you to struggle? Sardar, I want to bring you in. Romesh Sabarwal is saying that they are fighting the good fight right now, which is the fight for democracy, the fight for EVMs, the constitution. And do you think Rahul Gandhi is able to do that?
The question to me?
Yes.
Well, Rahul Gandhi is more seen doing theatre, more doing seen mimicries, and I'm shocked today. I thought Kalyan Banerjee hears from some theatre in Calcutta, probably the Madhusudan Mancha, probably, but I was told that he's a very renowned advocate, and today the way he has proceeded with the mention of projecting Mamata Banerjee as a leader, this clearly shows that there's complete rift within the India alliance. One. Secondly, also that with 55 years of age, Rahul Gandhi still has to mature to be a leader. I mean, he still doesn't hold the ground knowledge, and plus he doesn't know how to deliver on his political game. I mean, he is not won any recent election. I mean, election after election, he has been losing election, and that also affects the leaders' quality of leading the India alliance, or for that regard, even the party. There is already mumbling with the party also that he is not able to deliver the required result.
All right, Professor Mandal wants to make a point. Professor Manojit Mandal, yes.
No, you see, I think to a large extent, I do agree with my good friend from Congress that all the political parties need to get together and decide on their leader. Mr. Rahul Gandhi definitely is a very important is the leader of the Congress party and is part of the alliance. But facts remain that we need to do something out of the box right now. The situation has come to such a path that, I mean, despite all our disagreements with Mr. Modi and BJP, He is one of the tallest leaders in the country at this point in time. You have to somehow stop this person by out of box thinking. And who could be better than Mamata Banerjee? This is my,
Romesh
my own
Sabharwal,
take.
everything that Professor Mandal is right now saying.
Hang on.
Right.
Just 10 seconds.
No, I have others also. I have to bring in Ghanshyam as well.
Look at the level of contest it could be between Mr. Modi and Mamata Banerjee. A fascinating contest between a real powerful man and a powerhouse women. I mean, India has not seen this kind of a contest. I mean, as a political analyst,
you will get to challenging the Prime Minister only after you've resolved the differences within your own alliance. So let's not talk about Prime Minister Modi here. And let me tell you, he's going to be responding to the debate on Constitution on Saturday.
I'll just take 10 seconds.
No, I have Romesh Sabharwal to go to. Romesh Sabharwal, I want a quick rebuttal from you before I go to Ghanshyam. Please, Professor Mandal, I will come to you. Romesh Sabharwal, do you think that the Congress party has shot itself in the foot because of the entire Adani indictment issue that they have raised, something that they knew that was not getting the support from a Samajwadi party or even from a Trinamool Congress, and perhaps rightly so, because it is the very Adani funded projects that are being that were there in the opposition ruled states as well. Why didn't Rahul Gandhi think about it when Karnataka was signing up for one, when Telangana was signing up for one, when Chhattisgarh was signing up for one?
Ma'am, you are right. We are in the process of talking to them also. We have to unite together. Then only we can demolish Mr. Modi and Mr. Adani. There's a nexus. There is no doubt about that. They are looting the country. There's a limit. गरीब आदमी इतना मर रहा है इस देश में, इतना डिस्ट्रेस है when you go to the public. This is all, one kind of a drama they have conducted through the media.
पर वो आप ही के opposition ruled states में लूट नहीं मचा रहे हैं फिर, तब वहाँ पे आप पैसा कमा रहे हैं?
नहीं मैम, no ma'am, my submission is that ma'am, wherever अगर if we are doing some mistakes, that Rahul Gandhi has to take care of that, Mr. Khadke has to take care of that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there should be a system in the country. We should respect each other. If we are doing mistakes, then we should be punished by the people of India. If we are not doing mistakes, the people of India should give a vote to us. We are fighting right now with the martial law, undeclared emergency by the
What are you fighting against? You've lost Haryana, you've lost Maharashtra, and that is what the unanimous consensus with each opposition party that is supporting Mamata Banerjee saying that you had hope after Lok Sabha of winning Haryana, of winning Maharashtra, which you lost out completely.
Can I come in?
Let me quickly bring in Ghanshyam. Ghanshyam Tiwari, first of all, you chose to go alone in the Uttar Pradesh by-polls. You've been staying out of the protests in the parliament as well. We've all heard what Akhilesh Yadav had to say on that podcast when he was talking about how it is the end of Congress party. Why are you choosing to do what you are in the last few days? And I'm just going to talk about the last 1 month right now.
First and foremost, I hope you don't interject.
Please go ahead.
I start with the point we made. Tomorrow morning, it is not an India Alliance meeting to elect a new leader. Tomorrow morning is a sitting of Parliament, the highest house that represents 140 crore people. And we have a Prime Minister who does not have a courage to face this house. And we have his ministers, his spokespersons, his MPs, his leaders coming in TV debates after debates to defend Adani. The Adani indictment is not the indictment of Mr. Adani alone. He has not taken oath on the Constitution. The Adani indictment is the indictment of the Prime Minister of India. He has taken oath. The oath ensures that either this government questions Mr. Adani or at least the Prime Minister shows courage to stand up in the Parliament and speak. Second point, you talk about the India Alliance and the BJP keeps calling it Indi Alliance. At that rate, we should call BJ Party. This kind of foolish narrative of calling India Indi Alliance is only something that BJP can do. But if you look at NDA Alliance, not one panelist here can say the number of parties that are there in NDA Alliance. You spoke about 40%. Here are some of the death lists of the mortuary list of NDA Alliance: PDP, JJP, Mr. Upendra Kushwaha's party, NCP, Shiv Sena, AIDMK, the BJD, YSRCP. This is a kiss of death, the NDA itself. So it is convenient for BJP to come here
but no voice in NDA saying that we want a different precedent for the BJP, that we do not want this Prime Minister who is currently there. But there are voices within your own alliance which are questioning the role of the leader of the opposition. And
Well,
that is the moot question that I'm asking you today. This
The
kind of
leader of-
messaging could have been done privately, but it's clearly not happening privately. It's happened in the public domain. Your party has chosen to stay out of the protest. Your party didn't join hands with the Congress party in the bypolls. Your party's president, in fact, went ahead and said that, it is the game over for Congress party. And now, जिनके घर शीशे के होते हैं, वो दूसरों पे पत्थर नहीं फेंकना, आप पत्थर फेंक रहे हैं.
अडानी जी के घर तो सोने के हैं, मोदी जी का घर भी सोने का है।
तो मत लीजिए
हमारे
उनसे
देश में जो
project।
एक सेकंड बीच में मत टोकिए।
नहीं, हम सवाल पूछ रहे हैं।
नहीं,
बस।
आप सवाल नहीं पूछ रहे हैं, आप एलिगेशन लगा रही हैं।
नहीं, हम
Please
सवाल
बोलने
पूछ
दीजिए।
रहे हैं।
Please बोलने दीजिए।
Why are we
Please allow me
entertaining
to speak.
Adani projects in opposition ruled states?
Which
Nobody
ruled
is able
states?
to
You
answer
tell-
that.
you
At least
tell me
Ramesh
that you-
Sabharwal had the chivalry to own up to it.
आप सुन नहीं रही हैं। Adani Green's projects are in 12 states. That includes BJP states.
Yes.
The US justice system has indicted him on the basis of his own nephew's phone numbers. He's personally indicted. A man has been indicted for taking US investor money to charge extra from the Indian consumers by bribing the Indian state in a department called SCCI, which is related to 3 cabinet ministers
right.
in the past.
All right.
And the Prime
yet,
Minister is
Ghanshyam
absent from
Tiwari,
the
you will
Parliament.
not acknowledge the fact that the man was listed as among the top 40 richest people in the world by Forbes magazine back in the year 2007. Whose government was in power? Maximum projects that came his way were prior to 2014. Whose government was in power? It's all data which is on record. Now let me bring in Mr. R.P. Singh. This is a fight you need to fight alone. Mr. R.P. Singh.
Well, Ghanshyam Tiwari, I give you a challenge. You have Harvard background. Let's understand. Can show me one document which indict Adani? Department of Justice, has they named Adani?
Yes.
Or the family of Adani? I mean, you
Yes.
just come and give me a second. Please send the document to me. Next debate, I'll acknowledge that also. But fact is that you come and spew venom against the Indian industries because there's an agenda being set by certain people abroad. They don't want the Indian industries or Indian capitalists to go worldwide. And that's the reason that you hit him. But that's a point aside. But coming back to the khichdi which is here, the leadership khichdi which is here, when the Uddhav Thackeray, the Sharad Pawar, the Mamata Banerjee, I mean, not even there was just one MLA from Congress party from Sagar Digi, even he has been poached by the Mamata Banerjee within the TMC4. So fact is that they are not united together. And they don't want to stay together because there's already a race going on for next 2030. So they can be on 29. They can be on with that. There's still time for it. But there is no doubt today that Rahul Gandhi has visibly failed to give leadership to the India alliance. If I go by what Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari says, even by the India, although it's India alliance, but I go by his word. So he's not able to give the leadership to that group also. And already people are saying that they are parjis, they are parasites who went on our behalf and then try to dictate us also.
All right, Professor Manojit Mandal, please go ahead.
No, RPG खिचड़ी कभी कभी शायद के लिए बहुत अच्छा होते हैं। खिचड़ी गरीबों का फूड होते हैं। अरे आपका बनाया हुआ चिकन करी तो हम बिगाड़ दिए थे ना। 230
सर, मैं शाकाहारी हूँ आपकी जानकारी के लिए। मैं सरदार होने के बाद ही शाकाहारी हूँ।
खिचड़ी
चिकन करी मैं नहीं खाता।
चिकन करी के आसपास चले गए थे। Look, on a serious note, I tell you, Akansha, this would be good advice to my good friend from Congress. Look what you did in Bengal. Had you agreed with Mamata's proposal of 4-5 seats, we could have won 5-6 more seats in Bengal. If you look at the margins of seats where BJP won by 10,000, 15,000 votes, we could have won more things. I would have again touching almost the nose of the BJP, nearing 40. So you need to introspect. You need to. I think reorient your strategy. I mean, you don't go by the advices of someone like
All
Odit
right.
Chaudhary. Why are in Bengal?
All right, I'll be saying, I'll give you time for a rebuttal, but everybody is talking about how this has been the least productive winter session, especially compared to 2018. I, in fact, have figures. The Lok Sabha was standing at 21% in 2018. The Rajya Sabha stood at 27%, whereas now in 2024 is standing at 34% and 39%, which, I mean, many are saying that it's going to surpass the 2018 figures as well. I'd like your thoughts. And a second no confidence motion against the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. What does it speak of our democracy today?
Well, again, this is again a traitor. I mean, they know that they need 14 days to issue a notice to the. Are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. You need 14 days to issue a notice, and the session get over by 20th of this month. So I mean, it's all trick. I mean, we also know that is something they want to pitch and show.
All right. Ghanshyam, I just want to take your quick closing thoughts, because I'm sure you will agree that, the entire reason behind this alliance was to have a unified strategy. And I'm sure for once, let's agree that, this is exactly what the alliance is lacking right now, the lack of a unified strategy.
First and foremost, I welcome any suggestions, even critical analysis of India alliance and its leadership. But that will not generate courage in the Indian Prime Minister to come and face the Parliament. What kind of leadership is it that it's winter session and the Prime Minister is not showing the courage to come and face the Parliament? There is no argument that any of your viewers, any of the panelists here can come up with in this lack of courage of the Prime Minister. I am perplexed with that.
No, please. I mean, no, please. When the Prime Minister addresses the Parliament, they walk out of the Parliament. They create ruckus in the Parliament. Last session, Prime Minister was addressing the Manipur issue. They created ruckus in the Parliament. They went.
All right, I'm afraid I'm running short of time. I'll have to leave it at that. And perhaps it is time that the India Alliance comes up with a leader who's perhaps intimidating enough to, in fact, challenge what Ghanshyam Tiwari was talking about, challenge the Prime Minister. And with that, in fact, we have some breaking inputs coming in. In fact, we are learning that Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who's currently on a 3-day visit to Russia, is currently in a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This visit aims to further deepen India-Russia defence cooperation in line with the special and privileged strategic partnership. The priority of these talks will be on the delivery of S-400 and the Sukhoi 30 jets. Let's quickly go across to Akash Sharma, who's bringing us those inputs. Akash, and rightly so, because the S-400s especially has been getting stalled for a very long time.
Yes, Akanksha. In fact, we have received 3 squadrons and 2 squadrons are still pending. We know that Russia, is involved in a war, and possibly because of that, it has, delayed. But then, we have our requirement, we have the contract, and this is the reason why we have meeting as of now going on, and possibly this will be raised in front of President Putin as well. Also, Rajnath Singh was very much involved in the 21st meeting of India-Russia Intergovernment Commission, that is on military and military technical cooperation. This was the first meeting after Russia-Ukraine war, and all these issues related to cooperation, related to spare parts, related to Su-30 MKI delivery, and the additional contract that we are looking for, or S-400. All of these issues we have been told that were discussed. But at this point in time, a crucial meeting between Russian President and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh is underway, and it is very important ahead of Russian President's visit to India that is scheduled to happen in the earlier months of 2025. Date has not yet been decided, but there are a number of issues between the two countries. In fact, we know that the kind of developments that have happened, how Russian President praised Indian government for its policies for Make in India, and not just in defense but in other sectors as well. We have a growing cooperation between these two countries, how Russian firms are very much interested in Make in India, and are planning to come here, visit India and Make in India.
In fact, our defense cooperation and strategic partnership has been one that has been time tested. Many thanks to you, Akash, for bringing us those breaking inputs. And with that, it's time to cut to a quick break. But coming up next, why is Bangladesh still burning on Human Rights Day? We highlight the plight of the Hindus in Bangladesh.
बढ़िया है।
The class of 2016 is truly defined by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition. Throughout its time here at Gilman, the class of 2016 has been coming up with new ideas and challenging the world around it. Gilman maintains its classic core values by cultivating mind, body, and spirit in its students, but also champions an environment of acceptance and diversity. The people in our lives, especially our parents and teachers, have such huge roles as well. The parents here today, first off, sending us to Gilman was far from a small financial investment. I'd like to personally thank each of you for sending your sons here, as I can't imagine the class of 2016 without any one of these men on stage. Further, thank you for all the time and love you've put into our lives. You've instilled values in us, fed and clothed us, and simply been there for us every step of the way. Just like we've done these past few years, we'll be exploring the unknown, whether that be attending colleges across the country, traveling the world during gap years, or fulfilling military service in foreign countries. As we embrace the new, however, we won't forget the old. Our friendships, values, and memories from Gilman will always stay with us.
Authorities on Monday arrested Luigi Mangione, the man suspected of killing United Health executive Brian Thompson, in a brazen shooting outside a Manhattan hotel last week, ending a massive 5-day manhunt. At a press conference, New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch said the 26-year-old was captured in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after he was spotted eating at a McDonald's.
The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport. Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder. They also recovered clothing, including a mask consistent with those worn by our wanted individual. Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident. Additionally, officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset.
While the handwritten document did not mention specific targets, New York City officials said Mangione harbored, quote, ill will toward corporate America. Tisch said New York detectives had gone to Pennsylvania to question Mangione, who will likely be extradited to New York to face charges. This photo appeared to show the former home of the Mangione family in Towson, Maryland, where the authorities said the suspect was born and raised. Social media accounts that appeared to belong to Mangione identified him as a former student at the University of Pennsylvania and said he lived in Honolulu, Hawaii. The murder of Thompson, who had been CEO of United Health Group's insurance unit since April 2021, unleashed a wave of frustration from Americans who have seen their health insurance claims or care denied, faced unexpected costs, or paid more for premiums and medical care, all trends that are rising according to recent data.
Welcome back. Today is International Human Rights Day, a day that reminds us of standing up for those who have no voice, those who can't speak for themselves. Hindus in Bangladesh need the world to speak for them tonight. And that's exactly what Indians across the country did. Pro-Hindu groups held protests outside Bangladesh High Commission urging United Nations to act over Hindu atrocities in New Delhi. This comes the day after India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri's visit to Dhaka has brought renewed focus on the safety of religious minorities in Bangladesh. Misri conveyed India's concerns, including recent attacks and the arrest of Hindu leader Chinmoy Krishna Das. While Bangladesh's chief advisor Muhammad Yunus raised alarm over the controversial statements of ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, stirring further diplomatic unease. But is the Yunus government serious in dealing with this problem? And how can India ensure this anti-Hindu, anti-India sentiment is dealt with? Those are questions we'll be probing tonight on Brass Tacks.
Right violation happening in every day, in every hour. The Yunus government is doing nothing. The world community should come together and protect the Hindus in Bangladesh.
If the volatile situation is not addressed with urgency, the repercussions will extend far beyond Bangladesh.
All right, let me introduce our esteemed panelists. I'm joined in by Mr. Saddam Hussain, who's a higher council member of Gono Adhikar Parishad. I'm also joined in by Mr. Sushant Sareen, who's a senior fellow at ORF. Mr. Hussain, if I could begin by my first question as far as International Human Rights Day is concerned, I want to ask you one very straight question. Are human rights in Bangladesh under threat or not? Mr. Hussain, can you hear me?
Yes. Are you asking me?
Yes.
Absolutely not. If you tell me is human rights are violating in Bangladesh, I must say that it's a normal cases in a country like Bangladesh and a country like developing country like Bangladesh. So these are not the violations of human rights. Rather, these incidents are related to the to some extent political violence or political what should I say, conflicts. So these should not be termed as religious violent or communal conflicts or violation of human rights in lieu of saying this as political conflicts or political unrest.
Sushant Sareen, I want to quickly bring you in. 15 Hindu temples from November 10th till December 4th have been completely destroyed. 205 attacks on Hindu temples and businesses since August of 2024. Indira Gandhi Cultural Center, which was a cultural link between India and Bangladesh, completely destroyed. Arsonists remain at large. Hindu musician Rahul Ananda's house torched. Are these not blatant violation of human rights in Bangladesh?
Akansha, apparently not according to the gentleman from Bangladesh, because he says these are normal cases and even he justifies it because they've normalized these kind of pogroms against Hindus, the targeting of Hindu minorities. It's been normalized in Bangladesh, number one. Number two, I think he has a point when he says that, look, this is political violence, but it's political violence which is targeted against a particular community because a particular community apparently makes a certain political choice. So you target that community the moment things change. Now, if that is the kind of attitude you have and the kind of denialism that you have coming out of Bangladesh, then how do you expect, any redemption or any move to address the serious concerns of the violence which is taking place against minority groups? They've clearly, every time you ask any Bangladeshi, they'll say, yeah, so many things have happened, but we condemn it, and this is not acceptable. But they will always add a but to whatever they say, and that means that essentially they are trying to justify it. They are trying to find some kind of a rationale to explain this kind of violence away. But what they never tell you is, how come, if everything is so hunky-dory in Bangladesh, how come the population of Hindus has been steadily falling in the country? That is an explanation no Bangladeshi Muslim ever gives you.
No, and that's the explanation I'd like to, in fact, take from Saddam Hussein. But before I do that, I can see Ms. Veena Sikri, who's the former Indian ambassador to Bangladesh, has also joined us. Ms. Sikri, I'd want to know from you, we've seen how Vikram Misri, in fact, went yesterday. He was it was the first high-level talk between New Delhi and Dhaka. And he said that, India's concerns have been conveyed and that they are looking towards a positive, constructive and mutually beneficial approach between both the nations. Then why do the protests continue within the Indian borders today?
Well, I think we must also say, I think Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri had a good visit to Bangladesh yesterday. He also used 3 very significant words to describe his talks with his counterpart, including his call on Professor Muhammad Yunus and the Foreign Minister. He said that my talks were frank, candid and constructive. So I think this shows the dual line that India is following, that we are wanting to have normalcy in the relation with Bangladesh. We want to be constructive, we want to continue the good relations, but we are being very frank and candid about the very egregious violations of human rights that are going on. I'm absolutely shocked to see the representative from Bangladesh to normalize this kind of violence. Not since 1971 have the minority communities, the religious minorities in Bangladesh face such systematic and continuing and sustained violence for more than 3 months and still continuing, and it's being dismissed as normal. I do not think it's not. I've lived in Bangladesh for 3 years. I know this is not normal. Each of the minority communities are being told to leave the country, and the Hindu minorities, all the minorities have taken a stand that we do not want to leave the country. We want to stay. This is our country. We want our rights. They have given an 8-point demand to the interim regime in Bangladesh, and they would like to discuss these demands, which include a law for protection of minorities, a ministry for protection of minorities, action against those who have perpetrated violence on them. But there is no reference to any of this in the Bangladesh media. They're just pretending it doesn't exist. There is a complete gagging of the media. There are hundreds of journalists who are in jail charged with murder. There are another hundreds of journalists whose press accreditation has been removed, who have lost their jobs. The situation in Bangladesh is very dire, and I think it is being recognized the world over. President Trump spoke about it as the barbaric attacks on Hindu and Christians. British Parliament discussed it as ethnic cleansing. I think all these countries, they know exactly.
In fact, Ambassador, we are being attacked for the misinformation that's been doing the rounds. But Saddam Hussein, and I'll say it even before you say it, Saddam Hussein, that yes, there was misinformation, but not misinformation to the extent that you negate the number of attacks that have taken place, the number of attacks on Hindu temples, the number of mob lynchings that have taken place, the fact that cultural centers have been attacked, and all those arsonists are still at large. You cannot, in fact, say that, oh, this is our personal matter and we will not allow foreign intervention, which is why I'm going to ask you, Saddam Hussein, how do you justify that public anger against the Yunus regime? We are talking about marching Sheikh Hasina to the ICC. Tell me, why shouldn't Mohammad Yunus be taken by India to the ICJ?
Thank you very much. First of all, I must say, I must ask you a question. How many Hindus have been killed in Bangladesh after 5 August?
Close to 205 Hindu business. Yes, all right, Ambassador Singh.
Yeah, I think that I would like to remind our panelists from Bangladesh that the very leading Bangladeshi newspaper called Pratham Alo, the leading Bengali language newspaper of Bangladesh, they published a report on 12th of September. They covered only the first 15 days from 5th August to 20th August. And they said that during this time, at least 1,068 attacks took place, including desecration of temples, burning of homes, snatching of properties, and this has been followed after 20th August.
Saddam Hussain, please let the lady finish her point. Let Ambassador finish her point. No. I'm going to give you time to come up with the rebuttal. Ambassador Sikri.
Yes, so I think that in addition to that, there's been a gross violation of the economic livelihoods of the minorities. You know, the Hindu teachers, they have been surrounded by the Islamists and forced to resign. Hindu professors have been forced to resign. Hindu sub-inspectors have been forced to resign. Hindu government employees have been forced to resign. All this information is verified information.
All right.
And I think that
Saddam Hussain, are you also going to say that, you know, all those images that have been circulating online which show individuals in Bangladesh, in fact, crushing the Indian flag? No,
I am asking a specific question. Please don't divert the question.
Nobody is diverting the question. In fact, you are diverting the questions that we are posing to you. Are you negating that the Jamaat is not playing a role? Are you negating that there are no hardline chants taking place over there which are calling for the blood of ISKCON devotees? It's happened in Chattogram before Chinmoy Das was arrested.
How many Hindus?
I have it over here. We have a report over here which is talking about how there has been a consistent campaign against ISKCON by Islamist groups, and of course Jamaat-e-Islami, Hifazat-e-Islam, Hizb ut-Tahrir. Are you not?
You are such a condition that you cannot even answer a specific question. You cannot answer.
Saddam Hussain, what is your question? You're talking about the number of Hindus who've been killed. Let me tell you, there is no specific figure being given by your media over there.
Yes, you people are spreading news that genocide are happening here in Bangladesh. You are using the word genocide.
Of course it is genocide. And it's been one that's been on since the 70s.
You people are pronouncing the word ethnic cleansing. How many Hindus, how many ethnic minorities have been killed during the tenure of Dr. Yunus? Can you answer me?
All right. Sushant Sareen, is it not ethnic cleansing if hardline Islamist groups like the Jamaat are calling for the blood of Hindus? Is this not ethnic cleansing then? You have marches over there, you have chanting over there, there's video evidence. Now don't call that misinformation, Saddam Hussain. Sushant Sareen, please, Saddam, we heard you. Please let's listen to the other gentleman as well. Saddam, calm down, listen in. We are having a discussion. Listen in to what Sushant Sareen has to say. I really appreciate you taking that pause.
Unfortunately, Mr. Saddam Hussain thinks that he's the Saddam Hussain, the dictator of Iraq, and that he can shout down at all of us because we are dirty little Hindus whom they can do it in Bangladesh, they can't do it to Indians. But aside of that, I want to ask him a question. How many Hindus will you kill before you think that yes, you've actually genocided Hindus? Number one.
No.
Number two, you keep saying that India is interfering in your internal affairs. Listen, if there is crimes against humanity taking place in Bangladesh, and you have a government which is twiddling its thumbs and not acting and not addressing the concerns of minority communities, and as Ambassador Sikri very correctly points out, innumerable cases of Hindu teachers, businesses being burned, Hindu houses being targeted, and this is mostly in urban areas where there is still information coming out. What is happening in rural areas, it's still a dark area in Bangladesh. So we don't even have information of that. We just have some snatches of information filtering in. Now, at what point of time...
Should this be termed as genocide? Should this be termed as genocide?
Man has got verbal diarrhea. I don't know if I am speaking. When he was speaking, everybody kept
quiet.
Right.
So
I don't know what his problem is.
We actually heard you out. Please maintain some decorum over here on this discussion. Ambassador Sikri.
There is a problem. The Bangladeshis recognize this.
Allow me to clarify my point.
Right. Saddam, please make your point before I quickly go across to Ambassador Sikri.
Will that be acceptable to you? That nobody can either hear you or hear me? You are wanting to shout everybody down. You think this is Bangladesh that you can shout everybody down?
let's just clarify my point first, because
We heard your point. You're talking about the number of Hindus, which will in fact amount to being called as genocide, right? That's the question that you've been raising, Saddam.
No, I was raising the question, specific question: how many Hindus
Tell us
were
how many Hindus have you killed? How many Hindus have you killed?
No one.
No one. No Hindu has died after this guy, the Nobel Peace Laureate, has come into power. No Hindu has died.
No one.
Since
Not a single
August.
one.
No
Not
Hindu
a
has
single
died.
one, I can tell you.
But
I can
this is
tell you not a single one.
lies and dissemble which is going on in Bangladesh, and then they expect everybody to take them seriously. And world over, people are talking about it. World over, people are raising this issue. Even yesterday, when the EU delegation had met the so-called chief advisor, who I don't know how he's become the chief advisor, who's appointed him, what election he has won. But when they went and met him, even they have spoken about it. Even they have said that you have to keep rule of law in place. And clearly there is no rule of law.
Saddam Hussain, I'm sure you'll agree, the fact that even Mohammad Yunus accepted India's concerns is a silent acknowledgement that there is persecution taking place. It's shameful if you cannot even admit that all those houses, businesses which have been vandalized, which have been all those temples which have been defaced. Are you going to say that the Jeshwareshwari temple, the Mata Kali's crown, was not stolen and that it remains missing till date? That did not happen. Are you saying that the Indira Gandhi Cultural Center was not burnt down? Are you questioning all of that? All of those temples which were vandalized?
Indian media and the people talking from India, just see the reality.
Just by saying that, just by being so noisy and loud will not change facts on the ground, Saddam. Let me please bring in Ambassador Sikri. Ambassador Sikri, you know, on International Human Rights Day, I can't help but question the Western hypocrisy today. Yes, we've heard voices come out of the UK Parliament, even in the United States. The President-elect Donald Trump was talking about it when he was campaigning. I don't know how much hope should New Delhi be shelving once he enters the White House. But where is UNHCR? Where is Amnesty? Why are we the only one waging this war like a lone wolf?
I think that we are getting international support. I do see that in the early days when Professor Mohammad Yunus took over this post, although he's not elected, he just nominated himself, I think, to the post. There was no voices coming, and even Volker Turk, who came, tried to whitewash the situation. But now the situation is so dire that the world community is taking note. And today on Human Rights Today, at least in India, we have taken serious note, and this is being reflected all over the world. I'd like to say that I'm very disturbed by the kind of language that the panelist from Bangladesh is using. I think India and Bangladesh are friendly countries, and we want to continue the friendship. We don't talk about you people and you people, please. There has to be some decorum maintained when we are talking. In Bangladesh, the media is completely gagged. So I'm sure he cannot talk like this on the Bangladesh television. But I would like to tell him that in India, the media is free and we can talk. But we cannot have this kind of wrong language used. And I think if you know about how many people have died, please look at your own media reports. Please look at the reports of the Bangladesh Hindu, Buddhist, Christian Oiko Jot. Right. Please look at the reports of the many, even international coverage that has been there. Many people have died. Many have been abducted. Many homes have been destroyed. Their livelihoods have been destroyed.
Correct.
And ISKCON is a global organization, and they are called in Bangladesh to ban ISKCON. And even the laws of the land are not being maintained because the Chinmoy Krishna Das was not given bail. And when there was no lawyer from his side allowed to come.
Right, Ambassador Sikri, I want to quickly take closing thoughts from Sushant. Sushant, do you think that constructive diplomatic approach will help us from addressing concerns which are rising, especially from the way the role is that's being played by Jamaat? We have concerns of China's intervention also, the kind of funding that is coming in for the Jamaat, and how, in fact, the people of Bangladesh are only going to end up suffering, including the minorities, because if they are going to bring in a Sharia law with Mohammad Yunus as a mute spectator, what lies ahead is anybody's guess.
Look, I think as far as the government of India is concerned, it's taken a very mature kind of a position. It is trying to ensure that the relations get back on track. they have been damaged over the last couple of weeks because of what's been happening in Bangladesh. But I think there is still a belief in India that we can have a very mutually beneficial relationship with Bangladesh. But I think it is also important to recognize certain realities that are manifesting themselves in Bangladesh. Because if Bangladesh is going to go down this kind of route where minority communities are going to...
No, Saddam Hussain, I'm just going to shut you down right now by reminding you that the Indian Prime Minister last year had said that India is Bangladesh's largest development partner. You're losing out, not us. And with that, I'd like to thank Ambassador Sikri and the gentleman for joining in. Now, UPA era External Affairs Minister and former Chief Minister of Karnataka, S.M. Krishna, passed away at the age of 92 in the early hours this morning. The last rites of the stalwart will be conducted at Madur, his hometown, on Wednesday. From being a law professor to a remarkable political stint, S.M. Krishna leaves behind a long legacy that will be remembered by generations to come. I leave you with this story.
S.M. Krishna was more than just a politician. For those who truly knew him, he was a statesman, a visionary, a guide, and a man of honor. As a veteran who has worked in 3 political parties, all leaders have just one word to decry him across party lines. He is the Ajat-Shatru of Indian politics, a statesman without adversaries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to X to condole the death of the former Karnataka Chief Minister, stating, and I quote, S.M. Krishna was a remarkable leader, admired by people from all walks of life. Krishna pursued his education at Mysore's Maharaja College and Bengaluru's Government Law College before heading to the United States.
It is a great moment for India.
A Fulbright scholar, he studied at the Southern Methodist University in Dallas and George Washington University in Washington, D.C., where he did a course in international law. Upon returning to India, Krishna began his career as a professor at the Renukacharya Law College in Bengaluru. However, his true calling lay in politics. Over a remarkable career spanning 6 decades, Krishna left an indelible mark on Indian politics and governance, transforming Bengaluru into a global IT hub, championing reforms and becoming a symbol of modern, forward-thinking leadership. The 92-year-old veteran politician passed away at 2:45 a.m. on Tuesday at his Bengaluru residence. His mortal remains will be taken to Madur, his hometown in Mandya district, for the final rites. Krishna's crowning political achievement came in 1999 when he was appointed the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Tasked with leading a Congress government, he brought a fresh vision that sought to integrate Bengaluru with the world. Krishna was instrumental in turning Bengaluru into India's Silicon Valley. He promoted public-private partnerships and set up Bangalore Agenda Task Force, or BATF, inviting IT leaders like N.R. Narayanan Murthy to help guide the city's growth. His love for Bengaluru wasn't just professional, but deeply personal. An avid traveller and voracious reader, he envisioned the city as India's answer to Singapore, a goal that guided much of his work as Chief Minister. S.M. Krishna's legacy is one of transformation and modernization. Awarded the Padma Vibhushan in 2023, India's second highest civilian honour, S.M. Krishna leaves behind a legacy that transcends party lines and political divides.
You're live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. Viewers, it's a very big story tonight, and it deserves painstaking attention on your part. So give me a little bit of time. I have to really set this out for you. The pseudo-liberal left ecosystem doesn't tire of telling you, that is the viewer, the voter, that it is so-called Hindu radicals that have vitiated the discourse in this country. It will list in painstaking detail the alleged communal provocations of the BJP, RSS, VHP, Bajrang Dal, and on and on and on. This ecosystem will never tire of listing the names of Muslims targeted in communal violence, lynchings, etc. But when the Congress, for example, gave tickets to anti-Sikh riot accused or a cleric accused in a hate speech case, the ecosystem looked the other way. Just as it is doing today, when the AIMIM, led by rabble-rouser Asaduddin Owaisi, Member of Parliament, has shocked India by handing Delhi 2020 anti-CA riot accused and former AAP councillor